Good evening and welcome. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Pooja. Shali. I take you again to Bengal in this special telecast because we have the first reaction coming in from Partha Chatterjee and the first expressive visual from Arpita Mukherjee. Let's begin first with the headlines. Sensational PFI linked to Praveen murder case. The wife of accused confirmed that he is a part of the radical outfit. Chief Minister Barmer asked the centre to ban the PFI, says he's ready to implement the Yogi model of Uttar Pradesh. Another chilling murder in Bengaluru. 23-year-old Fazal was hounded and hacked to death by 4 to 5 assailants. Gruesome killing caught on camera. The PFI terror plot unravels. India Today accesses documents which reveal how the radical outfit launches multiple wings to evade agencies and radicalize young men for anti-India activities. Showdown over Rashtrapati jibe in the parliament. Smriti Irani meets President Murmu as Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary seeking time to meet her and apologize. Congress leader says it was a slip of tongue, accuses the BJP of making a mountain out of a molehill. Delhi High Court issues notice to the Congress leaders Jairam Ramesh, Pawan Khera and Netta D'Souza in a defamation suit filed by Smriti Irani asking them to remove defamatory tweets in illegal restaurant controversy. Congress says ready to fight in court. Indian Air Force to retire MiG-21 squadron in Srinagar by the end of September. All planes to be phased out by 2025. This a day after a trainer jet crashed in Barmer in Rajasthan, claiming the lives of 2 pilots. So the 2 big headlines coming in from Bengal today. It's the first reaction of Partha Chatterjee, the TMC Minister who's accused of the job scam. And importantly, Arpita Mukherjee, who cried hoarse while she was being taken to the hospital where she fell from a car. Remember, we are talking about 50 crores of cash, 80 lakh rupees worth of gold. Partha Mukherjee said, time will tell. Arpita Mukherjee, meanwhile, crying in her vehicle, had to be taken out by the police deployed. This is the 2 big visuals coming in from Bengal today. First visual, first reaction since the mega controversy broke out. So let's begin first with Arpita Mukherjee, who's the associate of Partha Chatterjee and has now been in the eye of the storm with the stunning recovery that has happened of the gold and the cash. It was high drama outside Kolkata hospital today. While Partha Chatterjee's aide Arpita Mukherjee was brought to the hospital for a medical checkup, which is a routine, she broke down inside the police vehicle and cried for several minutes. She also fell down while she was being taken to the hospital for a medical checkup. Arpita Mukherjee was absolutely inconsolable, was taken on a wheelchair as well. Here's a report of what exactly unfolded in Bengal today.
Hyperventilating, stumbling and falling down. That's how Arpita Mukherjee was wheeled in for a medical check with her foot hurt. The woman at the center of one of India's biggest cash seizures. Arpita looked inconsolable in ED custody when taken to a hospital for routine examination. In her wake, the sacked West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee rolled in, shouting conspiracy on the wheelchair ramp. This as piles of money, so far around 50 crore in total, plus gold, forex and a trail of assets tumbled out of his female friend's home. Not the tip of the iceberg, the stack upon stack of banknotes seen so far hauled from her properties could just be a mere speck. At least 3 companies linked to Arpita Mukherjee are now under ED investigation for suspected money laundering.
These documents accessed by India Today is a proof that a firm linked to Arpita Mukherjee was involved in property deals. Sources within the Financial Probe Agency have told you channel that Arpita Mukherjee was not only involved in laundering of money for suspended TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee by way of routing cash money, but also through multiple property deals. Now 3 firms linked to Arpita Mukherjee are under scanner of Enforcement Directorate.
Investigators also on the lookout for 4 cars missing from the apartment of the former model. They include an Audi and a Mercedes-Benz. The school job scam in West Bengal has claimed its first scalp. Partha Chatterjee has lost his portfolio and party positions in the ruling TMC. But the scandal has just deepened as investigators lift the lid one after the other on a secretive trove of unaccounted wealth, shady companies and estates. With Munish Pandey in Delhi and Indrajit Kundu in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
And my colleague Indrajit Kundu has been tracking all the latest, getting us all the scoops from Bengal. Indrajit, it has become a mountain of scam that continues to explode. You know, it appears the cash is still being counted. What is happening currently with regard to Arpita Mukherjee, Partha Chatterjee, and importantly, the Bengal politics? Does the TMC continues to face attack, or has the TMC and the government just managed to save itself in time by sacking Partha?
Well, Pooja, you know, a lot of things happening simultaneously. We are right outside Abhishek Banerjee's office in Kolkata, and I'll try and give you a contrast. 2 very different visuals. On my right, of course, you can see the media gathering because the meeting between Abhishek Banerjee and a delegation of one delegation of SSC aspirants has just got over. You can see, and they've come out and they are briefing the media saying that Abhishek Banerjee has assured them of complete support, but nothing much has come out of this meeting. On the other hand, I'll ask my camera person Kiranjit to show. At the same time, Kiranjit, come this side. I'll just try and show you. On the other hand, another section of SSC aspirants, they are protesting for the last 2 hours right outside Abhishek Banerjee's office. Just as the meeting has got over, see, you can see all these protesters, they are continuously raising slogans and they are saying they want to meet Abhishek Banerjee and submit their deputation. This is a deputation that they want to, submit to Abhishek Banerjee, and the fact that Abhishek Banerjee is meeting one delegation. Now this delegation, another group, they are claiming that they are, they appeared for the test in 2014. And they're shouting, yelling, crying, trying to get their voice heard to Abhishek Banerjee. They are saying that even they have been deprived, they have been duped, and despite Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's assurance, they have not landed a job, despite clearing the examination, despite getting interview calls. I'll just try and speak to them and listen into what...
2014 থেকে আমরাও বঞ্চিত। অভিষেক বাবু আমাদের সাথে দেখা করুন। 2014 প্রাইমারি টেট প্রশিক্ষিত আমরা টেন্ড, আমরা যোগ্য। একটু শুনুন অভিষেক বাবু একবার আমাদের সাথে দেখা করুন। আমরাও তো বঞ্চিত 2014 প্রাইমারি টেট পাস 10 ক্যান্ডিডেট।
So you can see, Abhishek Babu ektu shunun. So what basically they are saying is, Abhishek Banerjee, please hear us. Here another poster, if I can show this poster, it shows TET pass 2014 primary not included. So these are the candidates who have passed in 2014. They have not been cleared. So a lot of posters and of course agitated SSC aspirants from various years. These guys are from 2014 and they're literally pleading with folded hands. They're pleading right now saying, Abhishek Banerjee, please give us a patient hearing, speak to us. But, I'll once again go to the other side and show you that Abhishek Banerjee's meeting has just got over. In fact, the current Education Minister of West Bengal, Partha Basu, he is also inside at Abhishek Banerjee's office. That's the office that my camera person can show. And, Trinamool Congress spokesperson, Kunal Ghosh, he is also inside. So almost about 1.5 hours, 2 hours long meeting with one section of agitating SSC aspirants has got over. They just came out short while back and they said that, they've got an assurance from the Trinamool Congress that Abhishek Banerjee will intervene. They are with the protesters right now, and this of course comes at a time when the opposition political parties, mainly the left political parties, have lent full-fledged support to the SSC aspirants.
What you brought us actually, Indrajit, apart from the politics or the court case that is on or the recovery of the cash, what you've brought us is actually the extent to which we realize that this scam allegation has surfaced. It directly hits people who were seeking a job, a fair recruitment process, and all of this now seems to be in jeopardy, and that is why they are also protesting right now in Kolkata. Indrajit speaking to the protesters, while TMC's Abhishek Banerjee also trying to pacify the protesters, speak to some of the victims, as they are being called, of this mega recruitment job scam. Now, meanwhile, remember, Arpita Mukherjee, not directly related to what the Bengal government has been doing, but she is an eye of the storm because the recovery has been from her residence and the ED raids have been on. Arpita Mukherjee's lawyer, Niladri Bhattacharya, now joins me on this telecast on 6 p.m. Prime. Niladri, so there is this big mountain of evidence that is piling against Arpita, which is of cash, gold, properties. Now, while the ED does have her custody right now, what is the defense? How possibly as a lawyer you're representing her, what is the case that you're putting forth in this?
See, for the defense part of it, as it is concerned, let the ED complete its remand custody. Let us see what the documents the ED is going to give. As of now, we have only a copy of the first Caesar list which was given. The second Caesar list, as we have seen it in the television, has not yet been given to us. I am waiting to get all the documents, because see, at the end of the day, an Enforcement Directorate investigation, an ECIR investigation has to be done on the basis of the documents and the recovery, what has been given. So we are waiting for the documents. Let us have the documents, and then only we'll formulate our legal strategy.
So what will be the focus right now for Arpita Mukherjee, who's an eye of this storm? Is it to ensure that at least once her custody gets over, that she's out? How are you going to proceed further in this case?
No, if you see the latest Supreme Court judgment which has come day before yesterday, after that we have made little bit subtle changes to our strategy. If you see on the last occasion of the day of remand also, I did not pray for bail, and we argued only on the remand part of it. So let us see, once the remand period gets over, let the Enforcement Directorate give me a copy of all the documents, basically the Caesar list, and then we'll see. But at this point of time, what I'm more worried about is, which I've raised in court also several times, is that the security of Arpita Mukherjee is of paramount importance. If you see the last few days, there was an accident and she was injured, and I have also made prayer to the court that proper security should be provided to her.
Why do you say that? And also, what happened today? Because she was really crying a lot in the vehicle. She fell while she was being taken to the hospital. Why are you saying that her security is right now the issue here? What are you concerned about?
See, my concern is the amount of recovery, what I'm seeing in the TV, without being prejudicial to it. She is a person whom we think may have been framed. So, in light of that, we think that the security, as of now, the remand period, the security is of paramount importance. Because I have seen her on TV today that she was limping, she could not walk, and moreover, we have not been given access to the client for the last 4 days, in spite of there being an order from the court. So once we have a meeting or a legal consultation with her, we can tell her that what is going on and as to how to formulate the defense much better.
Niladri, it would be perhaps a priority for her also to put forth her view that how did someone like her, with the profession that she was in, manage to have these properties and the cash that has been found, all of that, because that's also going to then raise question, and that is perhaps what the ED will be focusing on. Of course, it's being connected that all of this was being done at the behest of a minister in the government. But that also, because that's the biggest allegation, that she was a part of a recruitment scam for jobs at the behest of a mantri.
No, see, whether it was, as you are saying, whether it was the behest of a mantri or whose cash was it, there are lots of question marks as of this moment. Lots of question marks, and there are no answers. So let us see how the time will only give answers to those questions. Let us see how it develops, how it evolves more, how the situation evolves more. And once we are in a position where we can answer those questions. As of now, only questions are there. It's one-sided it is coming. Once the documents are there, then only we can answer the questions.
Okay, have you been able to speak to her
Let-
on a regular basis? What is she saying to you? That's something that you
No,
can
no,
tell
no,
us?
no. I am sorry. Let me correct you. I have not been able to speak to her
Okay.
from the last day of remand. That was on 4 days back. I have not been able to speak to her. The ED is not giving access to her. So once we are planning to move forward for that. Let us see how it happens. Today is a Friday. By Monday, if we do not have the access, then we'll definitely move forward to have access to her, because the person is always entitled to a legal representation and a legal consultation. The Supreme Court has laid it down in many cases.
Okay.
So we'll wait till Monday and then we'll see how it happens.
Many questions are awaited, of course, right now since the remand. The security is paramount. The cash,
Yes.
where was it found? How was it found? All of that, the questions that are going to be answered. Thank you so much, Niladri Bhattacharya, for speaking to India today on this. He's representing Arpita Mukherjee. But apart from the legal aspect of it, it is politics. And that has been coming out specifically via the BJP. BJP has been reacting. My colleague Suryagini Roy has spoken to BJP leader Shubhendu Adhikari as well. Let's listen in to what the politics right now is in Bengal over this mega job recruitment scam.
हमने पार्थ चैटर्जी को उनके पद से और
ये कम्प्लीटली आईयूएस है। पूरा पब्लिक में रोष है, गुस्सा है, परसेप्शन खराब है। इसलिए जो आंटी एंड हर नेफ्यू दोनों मिलके आईयूएस किया।
क्या आपको लगता है सिर्फ पार्थ चैटर्जी के?
नहीं, पास करता है। टीएमसी पूरा चोर पार्टी है, पूरा के पूरा करप्टेड पार्टी है।
आज अभिषेक
ये रुपया है, रुपया ममता जी का रुपया है, टीएमसी का रुपया।
आज अभिषेक बैनर्जी मिल रहे हैं प्रदर्शनकारी टीचर्स के साथ।
नहीं, कोई एजिटेटर स्टूडेंट अनएम्प्लॉयड यूथ नहीं किया। ये सब झूठ बात। जो 500 डेड सीट ऑन स्ट्राइक में है ना, ये एक भी आदमी नहीं किया, ये फ्रॉड है सब।
बीजेपी अगला क्या करेगी इस विषय पे? बीजेपी और क्या करेगी इस पे?
बीजेपी सड़क में है।
हमने बात की शुभेंदु अधिकारी से, जिन्होंने दावा किया कि बीजेपी सड़कों पर है और बीजेपी ये प्रदर्शन जो है वो जारी रखेगी। कैमरा पर्सन अर्घो के साथ सूर्याग्नि रॉय, आज तक, कोलकाता।
So Cash Queen Arpita Mukherjee's empire has come crashing down. India Today has now scooped details of 3 companies linked to Partha Chatterjee's associate that are now under the radar of the Enforcement Directorate. Now, Company 1 is Symbiosis Merchants Private Limited, where Arpita Mukherjee was appointed director on 20th March 2011. Now, allegedly being involved in a wholesale business, but based in Kolkata itself. Now, there's another company, company number 2. Century Engineering Private Limited, where she was again appointed director on 9th of November 2011 again. Now, the share capital of 1 crore, allegedly the company is involved in manufacturing special purpose machinery. There's another company where Arpita HI Entertainment Private Limited, where, as you can from the name, Arpita Mukherjee was appointed director again 29th October, this time in 2014. As a close aide of Partha, the business partner, he has also been mentioned in this company. Now, the Enforcement Directorate suspects that Arpita was appointed as director of these companies after she came in association with the now sacked TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee. The companies had the sacked Bengal Minister's close aide Kalyan Dhar also as a business partner. Now, the investigating agency has uncovered 74 lakh rupees apartment deal in the name of Arpita Mukherjee. ED suspects the apartment was brought with money from the recruitment scam and that it was also being used for other purposes. Let's go across now to our consulting editor, Jayanto Ghoshal, who's been tracking the politics of it and the ED raids as well. Jayanto, because apart from Arpita getting directly linked with Partha right now, and him being sacked, why do you think Mamata Banerjee took this decision eventually? How do you think the government is planning to recover from the shock of what looks like a mega job scam? Accusations against the government and via close aide Arpita Mukherjee.
You know, when you are in a deep political crisis, the fault, line repair is very necessary. My journalistic experience, especially with special reference to West Bengal, it is 40 years and the Mamata Banerjee is in power for 10 years. I have not seen this is sort of deep political crisis of Bengal, and especially perception is always very important nowadays, especially in the social media era. And here the district-wise, the people of Bengal, And not only Bengal, nationally also, but Bhimda Banerjee's main clientele, main constituency is Bengal. And the people of Bengal is agitated and seeing this money. And myself, I am highly depressed whenever I am seeing this photo. So now, Mamata Banerjee was in a catch-22 situation. Partha Chatterjee is not Tom, Dick, Harry. Secretary General of the party, Disciplinary Action Committee Chairman, Jago Bangla, the party's, organ's editor. If you take action, you don't know what will be the reaction. It can be open the Pandora's box. I appreciate the role of enforcement and CBI because this time they have unearthed lot of information, money, connections with the power, this sort of the role of this actress. So now Mamata Banerjee slowly she took the action, and Abhishek Banerjee, she represents the young talks of the party, not the old girls.
Yes.
And Abhishek Banerjee, last few months, he was consistently, he was suggesting, although he was not part of the government.
Correct.
But he suggested immediate, you should dismiss Partha Chatterjee. And Mamata Banerjee, whenever everyone asked him why you are taking time, she said that I don't have evidence. So
and today also, what I saw, what you're saying is very pertinent because Abhishek Banerjee again was meeting some of the victims of the scam that is being alleged. So there is a strategy in place. They're trying to ensure that this allegation and this mega recovery is put behind them. Jayanto Ghoshal, thank you so much for tracking all the latest and giving us a perspective of what exactly is happening. But one cannot get the mind over about the recovery that has taken place. In fact, I want to now take you through about one by one, just to remind you of this stunning recovery that has been found from Arpita Mukherjee's residence. Let's begin. 4 apartments of Arpita Mukherjee have been raided. Now this, remember, 4 from Gauriahat to other areas as well. They're one by one, 4 apartments in her name. Over 50 crore rupees in cash, remember, over 2 days, still counting. Bundles of cash from one house. The gold worth 80 lakh rupees have been recovered from Arpita Mukherjee's residence. So much jewelry in one house for one person. Now here where it gets interesting. 4 luxury cars under her name, including a Mercedes-Benz and Audi, have gone missing since the ED raid started. And right now, of course, the ED is still ensuring that any other tip-off that they get, they are going to act on it. So a lot of money that is being spoken, but it is being alleged. The allegation is not about the recovery. The allegation is, was this recovery from the TMC Minister and coming from a recruitment job scam? Remember, it is about jobs for teachers of an education department. That's one of the most valuable portfolios for any government for the future of its children. In the hill state of Uttarakhand, there's absolutely a bizarre video that has now been circulated of schoolgirls shouting, screaming, banging their heads, rolling on the ground, causing panic among the teachers and the school staff, and it's been going viral on social media. There are a lot of unanswered questions about what exactly has happened here. Many are also calling it freaky in the manner in which to watch these young girls in what appears to be a case of mass hysteria in Uttarakhand's Bageshwar. What is mass hysteria? What causes it? And what is this incident specifically? My colleague Sneha Murdani tried to dig deep and finds out in this special report. Take a look.
This video of young girls weeping inconsolably has sent shockwaves. The video is from a government school in Bageshwar in Uttarakhand, where girls are seen banging their heads, crying, almost like they're mourning a death. The village priest trying to quieten them down, but to no avail. Medical officer says this is a case of the kids being fearful and possibly hungry. This could be the reason behind the mass hysteria being triggered.
देखने में लगा कि बच्चे अस्पताल और स्कूल से ज़्यादा दूर में नहीं रहते हैं, थोड़ा 1.5-2 किलोमीटर की दूरी में रहते हैं, लेकिन स्कूल का टाइमिंग जो है जल्दी का है, तो बच्चे सुबह जब प्रथम दृष्टि आते हैं वो भूखे रहते हैं, तो भूख से रहते हैं और थोड़ा बच्चे के अंदर थोड़ा सा भय भी था और अभिभावक भी चाहते थे कि अभी इनकी थोड़ी काउंसलिंग हो जाए और ये थोड़ा सा आराम कर लें और उसके बाद अगर सीरियस होगा तो हम उनको फिर डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल संदर्भित करेंगे।
Experts believe this indeed is a case of epidemic hysteria. The trigger could be anything.
One person's behavior leads into identification and almost like an imitation by another person, and this starts this cycle where more and more people at that given moment in time exhibit the same behavior. This could be triggered by some stress, it could be triggered by something happening in these people's lives, it could also be something related to what their core belief systems are or what they've observed in people around.
So what exactly is mass hysteria? It is an unnatural behavior, an unusual behavior. Sometimes it is a belief or a thought. Sometimes it could be proclamation that there is a health condition. Now there is no treatment for this sort of psychogenic illness. It comes as suddenly as it disappears. It indeed is a mental health condition. Sometimes it may also have those affected talking about some common symptoms like headache, stomachache and dizziness. Mass hysteria, also called epidemic hysteria or MPI, mass psychogenic illness, has been reported for hundreds of years. During the Middle Ages, it was reported in England when nuns began meowing and biting. The trigger, stress. In 1518, a dancing plague swept Strasbourg, France, where people would not stop dancing till they fainted of exhaustion. In 1962, a school had to shut down in Tanzania because the entire school was gripped in laughter. You heard that right. Kids would not stop laughing. India too has its share of history when it comes to some form of mass hysteria or other. Be it the Ganesha idol drinking milk that got the world to offer milk to the idols, or the story of the Kala Bandar living in Delhi in 2001 that was supposedly attacking people. Delusions are not new, and the case of girls crying in Bageshwar, also experts say, is exactly that. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
And now speaking to experts and with some perspective on this, joining me now is our Deputy Editor Sneha Murdani in this live telecast. Sneha, you know, it is a scary video also because we're talking about young girls here at a government school. And in a country like India, there are all sorts of superstitions that also erupt. Is this about any paranormal activity? Is this superstition? Is this a health condition? What is it that would lead to these young girls start to shout, cry? It's absolutely bizarre and disheartening to watch it.
Well, there indeed is a lot of superstition in India and outside as well. And many times that gets converted into mass hysteria. It indeed is a medical condition and there is no treatment. Psychiatrists have said that it triggers and it shows some common patterns in a group of people which may have some common social beliefs, like in the case of these school children. Now here the medical officer says that the children were feeling low, were feeling upset, and they were also hungry. What really triggered this sort of mass hysteria? Did one girl look at the other and started behaving in a similar fashion? Yes, could very well be the answer. You usually follow a pattern is what is believed in cases of mass hysteria. Now there could be behaviors. Mass hysteria could also reflect in the form of thoughts. It could also reflect in the form of actions like we've seen in the case of these girls. Also beliefs which may be bizarre often, but you'll have a group of people having these beliefs. So it's almost convincing that that belief is in fact true, but it may or may not be true. Given one example, like I did in my story as well, of what happened in India in the year 1995, when everyone in a wave of mass hysteria believed that Ganesh idols were drinking milk. At the end of the day, we know that really wasn't true, but that is an example of mass hysteria. Also, very often we've seen in many parts of rural India, there are news about women being fearful of a ghost that is chopping off their hair, and this is the most common rumor, and it spreads like wildfire. This also is an example of mass hysteria, just like the case in Uttarakhand of the girls shouting and yelling and weeping.
So there is nothing paranormal. It's not like a ghost has taken over, as a lot of conspiracy theories have been going around. This is purely a health condition, a mass hysteria. And thank you so much, Sneha Murdani, for putting it in perspective for us. There have been a series of hate crimes in the state of Karnataka, and now the chorus is growing for implementation of the Uttar Pradesh model in the state of Karnataka. Even ministers of the government, including Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, have called for a Uttar Pradesh-like model that would be implemented with stringent action against murderers. While Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai is asserting that the focus of the state will now be on law and order and will do whatever is needed to frame the law. But Bommai is also claiming that it can be on the lines of the Uttar Pradesh model or a different Karnataka model. Meanwhile, State Minister Ashwath Narayan has called for encounter of the murderers, saying the steps needed because these murderers will then shiver before they commit a crime. Now, the comments, however, have also received criticism by the opposition parties. H.D. Kumaraswamy saying BJP will be thrown out of the state of Karnataka if they implement the Uttar Pradesh model. Remember, 3 chilling hate crimes have taken place in Karnataka in just 2 weeks.
ಕೆಲವರು ಪ್ರಚೋದಕರು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣದಲ್ಲೂ ಇಂಥ ದುಷ್ಕರ್ಮಿಗಳು ಕೊಲೆಗಡುಕರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ನಿರ್ದಾಕ್ಷಿಣ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ವಹಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎನ್ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ನಾವು ತಯಾರಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಡುಕ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ಕನ್ಸ್ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಹತ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಕೊಡದೆ ಎನ್ಕೌಂಟರ್ಗಳು ಆಗುವಂಥ ಕಾಲ ಬಂದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದಿದೆ.
Yesterday I was there in Mangalore. I visited Pravin's house, and while coming back after I took the flight, I heard there was another murder. I got all the details. I've instructed ADGP Law and Order to stay there and see that prompt action is taken. For us, all incidents are equal, all murders, all life of the people are same to us. So we want to take strict actions on all the 3 cases. As and when required, whatever is necessary within the frame of law, we will do all actions. It might be UP model or Karnataka model.
ಏನು ಯೋಗಿ ಏನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲೋದ್ರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ್ರು ಯೋಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಬುಲ್ಡೋಸರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರೆ, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರ ಹಣ ಬರಗಳು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾನೀಗ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ತಂದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಬುಡು ಸಮೇತ ಕಿತ್ತು ಈ ನಾಡಿನ ಜನತೆ ಕಿತ್ತೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Model or yogi model. Baba Sahib Ambedkar has given us the constitution, and constitution is the model in which the IPC is there. The section that the government has given us and the people of India have been living in so many years has to be implemented. We do not want any change in any model. If the government is unable to run in that model, we will have the people change the BJP model. We will change the people. The Karnataka people are not stupid. They are watching, and in the near days we will have a clear understanding that there will not be any other model excepting the people's model.
The statement of the Chief Minister of Karnataka regarding implementing something called as the Yogi model in Karnataka is nothing but signs of him trying to appease the Sangh Parivar and appease the Sangh Parivar workers. Everyone has seen the visuals of how the Sangh Parivar workers are upset with the BJP, and that is the reason we see that at a time when the Chief Minister should talk about peace and harmony, he is trying to please the Sangh Parivar with such statement. We would like to make it clear that in a democratic system, the only model that can work is the constitutional model. Only those people who don't believe in the constitutional model will talk about such unconstitutional models which are originated by the BJP and the RSS. So we would like to make it clear that at a time when the Chief Minister should promote peace and harmony, he should not try to create more division in the society.
Now, with 3 hate crimes at least, Violent agitations across the country, anti-India activities, the link of Popular Front of India has been emerging consistently, and that is what the security agencies have also been tracking. India Today has now accessed the sensational blueprint of the PFI, which is a radical Islamist group, and its expansion bid amid raids across the country on the sleeper cells. PFI's massive Sar Tan Se Juda module appears to have now been exposed. A diary accessed by India Today exposing the PFI's terror format. The Islamic group has now formed multiple wings, as it appears, to evade the investigative agencies, and all of this, remember, amid a huge crackdown across states of the country. Now, the document says that the PFI raises funds in the name of social service and uses them then for anti-social and anti-India propaganda. The Popular Front of India conducts recruitment drives in schools, colleges, madrasas and Muslim-dominated mohallas. The body also then brainwashes Muslim young men and women with anti-Hindu agendas, comparing them and their struggle with that of the Prophet Muhammad. All of that has now been put forth by the police, specifically in Telangana as well. Arvind Ojha, our crime bureau chief, is now tracking all the latest on that. Arvind, सिर्फ तेलंगाना या राजस्थान में नहीं, पर और शहरों में भी एक-एक करके पीएफआई का लिंक आ रहा है. किस तरह से एजेंसीज इसको ट्रैक कर रही हैं? क्यों इसको बोला जा रहा है कि ये टेरर मॉड्यूल है जो एक्सपोज हो गया है?
जी देखिए, सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताऊं कि जब बिहार के फुलवारी शरीफ में इस पूरे मामले का खुलासा हुआ और इस पूरे मॉड्यूल का खुलासा हुआ पूजा, उसके बाद तेलंगाना में एक रेड हुई और रेड में जो ट्रेनर था, जो पीएफआई कैडर को ट्रेन कर रहा था, स्टोन पेल्टिंग, छोटे आर्म्स की ट्रेनिंग दे रहा था, जब उसको अरेस्ट किया गया, उसके बाद सीरीज वाइज अरेस्टिंग हुई पीएफआई कैडर की. उसके बाद सामने आया ये प्लान, जो एक्सपेंशन प्लान है पॉपुलर फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया का. इसमें ये बाकायदा लिखा हुआ है कि जो ये ग्रुप है वो छोटे स्कूल, जो मदरसाज हैं, उनको टारगेट करता है और रिक्रूट कर रहा है, जो एंटी मुस्लिम्स है उनके नाम पर भड़का रहा है, उनका ब्रेन वॉश कर रहा है. लेकिन जो सबसे चौंकाने वाली बात यह है कि पीएफआई की जो टॉप लीडरशिप है, उनको इस बारे में जानकारी है कि उनके खिलाफ बैन की आवाज उठ रही है. इस वजह से पीएफआई ने नए नए विंग्स बना लिए हैं, जिसमें कैंपस फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया जैसे कई नाम हैं. इस तरह के विंग आए हैं ताकि अगर पीएफआई को बैन किया जाता है तो फिर ये जो ग्रुप है वो किसी और दूसरे नाम से अपना प्रोपेगेंडा, अपना एजेंडा जो है वो फैला सके. तो इस तरह के कई खुलासे वो हुए हैं और वो डॉक्यूमेंट इंडिया टुडे ने भी एक्सेस किया है.
Thank you so much. Arvind Ojha has been tracking all the latest on that. So amid the crackdown, changing names, still trying to reach out to young men and women with propagandas. That's what the PFI is, and there's chorus now growing for its ban. Will the government take that step? That remains to be seen. Now, final report of 6 p.m. Prime is a ground report, remember, with several parts of the country still facing heavy downpour, flash flood-like situation. From Jammu and Kashmir to Rajasthan, many areas are submerged in water. Here's a ground report on that.
From Jammu and Kashmir to Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, monsoon rains have crippled life and left a trail of destruction. In Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district, the army was racing against time to save people trapped in floods near the Sher-e-Kashmir bridge. In Ladakh's Kargil, sudden heavy rains triggered flash floods and cloudburst in Baru, leaving standing crops completely damaged. Jodhpur has been hit the hardest in Rajasthan. Much of the tourist city is inundated. The army is out in the city helping its civic authorities battle the deluge. Trains to Jodhpur have been cancelled for a few days now. In Uttar Pradesh's Varanasi, the Ganga is rising menacingly each passing day. Its famous ghats have been submerged and people have been warned against going too near the river. Many parts of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka continue to reel under heavy rains. And the Met Department says there's going to be no respite from the rains for the next few days at least. Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching 6 p.m. Prime.